Hey guys, welcome back. BDCR here. We're back with another Injustice video. This is an Injustice 2 video. It's almost weird to talk about. We're going to be doing an online multiplayer,
The equivalent,
or
arena play.
It's so weird talking about it. But we've mentioned before that playing with one character is the most
On your team, yeah.
is the most resource efficient, but the least time efficient. And playing using a full three character team is the most time efficient, but essentially the least resource efficient option. And so we're playing right in the sweet spot with a two-man team here, which is a good balance between being able to squeeze some extra points out of it, but also to not essentially give yourself a huge amount of playtime.
So this is the second favorite team. We'll get into the first later, but it's one of the keys is that when you select a team, you want to pick one that has a high enough score that you can manage. All right, so Hammer can stun him, so this is perfect. And this is power, so while he's stunned, get a few more hits in. So the passive for Emerald Green Lantern is really good. One of three random effects: the crit hits, stun, or power boost. So there's a stun, so it's worth giving a few whacks, but I'm not exactly sure how it works. So sometimes she didn't get stunned, right, even with an unguarded attack. The reason why they're a good match. All right, so Emerald Green Lantern gives those effects. Blademaster, Robin, his passive lets him have minimum 7-hit combo, which increases the damage of his special. So what you really want to do is pair him up with somebody who can maximize his specials, and Emerald Green Lantern does, because every time you swap out, you get 1 bar of power, and if you happen to hit the power generation, his Green Lantern, that's an extra couple bars of power, so you get to his specials really quickly.
Yeah, and I guess one thing that we should point out, the video for Injustice 2 is not as smooth. It's a lot kind of more stuttery here, right?
And it might be our device, but it's a shame that they...
I'm sure if our device was good enough, yeah, it would be able to overcome the issues, but it's a game that's easier to play because you're actually directly acting on it, but it's not as telegraphed for watching it, for sure. So apologies for that ahead of time, but we'll this is the best we can do.
So what I'm aiming for is typically at least 60,000 points, in the range of 6. Oh, that's not bad. And I'm looking for no weirdos. So I don't want the Joker to stun me. I don't want Green Lantern to give the other team the advantage. So this one's not bad. Cyborg will actually revive, so you're almost facing like an extra person, but same with Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
So no, I don't want to face Horrific Scarecrow because I don't want my specials to be nerfed or cut back the power increased for the amount that you need to do a special. I don't want to face Green Lantern because he's gonna, mess us up a bit by stunning us or giving extra power every time they tag in.
Yeah, basically we don't want to fight any guys that we would want as a staple on our team.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Because anybody who has that...
Dr. Fate, because he cuts the power cost for specials. So that's actually my favorite team. Arkham Knight Batman, which I guess we could show in the next time around. Arkham Knight Batman plus Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
It's a little bit unbalanced because Dr. Fate is weak, but Arkham Knight Batman more than makes up for it. But Blademaster, Robin, is sort of the star here, and Emerald Green Lantern, despite having really good stats, and both being relatively sort of high levels, I like Robin to do all the heavy work. See, look, he's tagged in a couple times, and look how much his power has improved.
Yeah.
And what's good about his special one is multiple hits. So for guys that can block, like Wonder Woman and Superman, what it does is it soaks up their power, right? So if you're actually concerned that they're going to use a special, do a special one. And actually, most of the time, it's strong enough to do a lot of damage anyways. Yeah, there's almost no point tagging him out now because we've got literally max power. Hot diggity.
One thing we can mention now, which we haven't really had a good time to mention anywhere else, the Injustice 2 console game has some really, really weird gear mechanics.
Oh, yeah?
Their names are all randomly generated. So, and the gear visually applies to your character. So you can get some really, really funky looking dudes And
Yeah.
you can also get some really funky looking names. Like one of my favorite content creators, Nick Robinson,
Yeah.
posted a video in which he got like the crowd-funded luxury bow for Green Arrow. Like, and there's just a ton of like really bizarre names combinations that can get generated.
I gotta say, I can't find the time to play console games. I don't know what it is. Poor time management skills. I can barely keep up with grinding Injustice 2 and still playing Injustice 1.
And also, we don't have any consoles except PC, PS2, and Wii.
All right, so that looks sort of like a promising 61,000 is the next. 65 is better because it's the next bracket.
And everybody knows that you don't play fighting games on the PC.
Yeah. So that's not bad. The only problem here will be Wonder Woman because she blocks a lot. But like I said, you use a special one, eats up her power, and it doesn't take up a lot of your power bar. So if you've got enough afterwards, you can really knock her around a bit.
Yeah.
But it's. I want to say that the gameplay is good because I like the fact that they expanded it and they've increased the ability to really move more than Injustice 1.
Yeah.
But maybe it's the way it's programmed for how it plays out on the screen. It doesn't feel like there's anything more. Like, a good example. So this other game I'm playing, Renegade, it's a mobile shooter game, first-person shooter. But it's got controls that are specific to it and are meant to optimize how you use a mobile device.
Yeah, and it feels like it's compromised very little on actually providing you a positive play experience.
Yeah. I mean, what would be kind of cool is if there was a bit more interested. Like, if they ever got out of beta, I would love to post some gameplay videos of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blademaster Robin is really good. Even so, what I found actually, the more I play, the less I worry about the rock paper scissors lizard spot kind of, might beats agility beats metahuman beats tech.
Yeah.
And if it's good enough, you'll sort of cut right through them. Oh, the other thing about playing a team of 2 is that typically you're fighting teams of 3. So for even a team that's got higher threat value than yours, each of their individual players are often weaker. So it's not really that hard if you want to grind to get enough arena points to get the reward sort of level that you want.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest part, what sucks the most out of this, is how long it takes to load up each one. So, no Green Lantern we don't want. This one, 2 low points. We don't want the Scarecrow anyway, so... Well, that's promising. 88. It's a little bit on the high side, but there's no sort of dangerous guys.
60,000 102.
Yeah, but perfect Scarecrow.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 60, 88. There we go, yeah. I guess we could have looked at the guys. Part of me, I'm getting away from doing that with this because it's not like you have much control over what gears. It's not like there's going to be any surprises about what they can do. It's just a matter of how much damage they'll do.
Which is a little unfortunate. I feel like this game falls into the... I think it's good in a lot of ways still. I think it falls into the pitfall. We've talked a lot about how the weakest part of any mobile game is the actual gameplay itself.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that made Injustice really, really good was there was some meat to the gameplay, but really what sold it was the planning and the outside of the actual gameplay play. And I think the issue is that they focused a lot on making improvements or changes in the gameplay that were either neutral or positive, and where they really sacrificed quality was in everywhere surrounding the gameplay, which is, for me, for mobile games, kind of the whole selling point.
Right. There's not a lot of choice, actually, of what you're going to do. I mean, the more I play this, the more you appreciate the subtleties, like almost anything else, right? Like, for example, the first ability, when at the beginning of the fight, if it's the stun, then I'll use it. If it's anything else, I'll tag out Robin right away to bring Green Lantern to take advantage of the next ability.
And so I think the issue is any single new gear that Injustice releases that has a new ability is instantly almost guaranteed going to have combos with other gear and combos with other characters, right? Whether intended or not. And all of that creates a level of gameplay complexity that essentially means each new gear is an entirely new strategy set, right? Or each new ability,
as long as they don't duplicate, because there's a bunch, for example, that were like basic damage boost with crit chance boost.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Each new ability that they put on a gear is an entirely new set of strategies, right? And chances are there's not going to be only one other gear set that it works with, or one other character that it works with, right? It's going to give you a range of options, and for this, all of that is just lost, and you've got a ton more gear and a ton more collection, but a ton less complexity and a lot less kind of interest.
That first one looks the most promising. 70,000 is okay.
And so the problem was, it's not actually like it's actually more collection work for less reward, and that's, I think, most of this game's kind of outside of the actual gameplay experience is more work for less tangible reward.
The only thing I'd add to that is that part of the reward in my mind would be choice and options.
Yeah.
And those are all gone, because it's basically luck of the draw. You get what you get, and it's not like if you could draw more often, or each thing were cheaper to get, then it would make sense it would take away some of that frustration of being stuck with what you've got.
Yeah, and the gear is streamlined, but it's streamlined in a way that almost makes it less intuitive. It's huge and nebulous and really hard to kind of get what you want out of it.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more work, and it's not like it's any less content for them, right? Like they have the whole random system. They have, each person has their own set of gear. Each person has 5 pieces of gear, right? So there's actually a lot more gear in the game, but almost all of it has lost what made gear so fun in the first game. Where, like, incremental upgrades are great, but what they've done, like, instead of having kind of a bunch of linear progression based stuff where each gear actually had character, they've totally gotten rid of that, and really each thing is just another incremental stat that gets bigger. And that's an issue in a lot of games. A lot of what make my favorite games fun, including Injustice, but also even like console games like Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch, what makes those games so full of character and so much fun is the fact that although some characters and weapons and items and all that stuff may be a little bit better or a little bit worse, there's really like a ton of variety where there's this big space that you're in where there are no wrong options, right? Like for gear, like anytime somebody tells us what the best gear is, we ask them what they want to do with it, what they're like, all this stuff about the strategy, and
it matters.
Yeah, and Injustice 2 is missing a lot of that, and I think that's probably my main actual complaint with the game. I think I could forgive a lot of other stuff. I could even forgive it being slower, but it lost a lot of originality.
So that was it. That was all 5 pips. Quick run through Arena, and yeah.
So there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Kimota.